Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So yep, it is that time of the week. I'm outside the cinema, and this is quite likely to be a fun one. So I'm about to head in to see The Monkey, a new film from Oz Perkins. The trailers for this have looked an absolute blast. So I'm expecting, just a wild, messed up horror comedy with, gory, violent kills and a, pitch black sense of humor. This looks right up my street, so I'm hoping this is a good time. But there's only one way to find out. Get my snaps and get seated for The Monkey. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and a red frozen Fanta, blood colours, ready for what looks to be a wild new experience from Oz Perkins. So yeah, The Monkey. I'm back from seeing it. This is directed by Osgood Perkins, whose last film was, of course, the breakout horror hit of last year, Longlegs, which was a really atmospheric, slow burn procedural, which had those elements of the occult and a genuinely unsettling performance from Nicolas Cage. So how do you go about following up something like that? Well, you make a horror comedy with plenty of pedigree behind it. Notably, this is adapted from a Stephen King short story, and among its producer credits is James Wan, the horror whiz kid behind Saw, The Conjuring, and the criminally underseen Malignant. So, in theory, this film ought to be an absolute riot. But does the film deliver another wild Oz Perkins experience? Let's find out. So the film follows twin brothers Hal and Bill Shelbourne, who discover among the many trinkets that their dad has brought home is an organ grinder monkey, which, when you turn the key on its back, plays a little tune on its drum, the end of which causes an unexpected violent death to an unsuspecting victim of the monkey's choosing. And so, realizing the thing's incredibly destructive potential, the brothers agree to lock it up in its box and throw it down the well to never speak of it again. Until one day, 25 years later, the monkey makes its unexpected return. So, obviously, Longlegs is a difficult act to follow up, so it's not surprising that Perkins has decided to go the complete opposite way with this, making what is promised to be a wildly entertaining horror comedy. And I gotta say, the final film may not quite be as wildly entertaining as the trailers have suggested. It is still a pretty damn good time at the movies, and if if you're going in expecting a fun horror comedy with some good kills, yeah, you'll probably leave this pretty satisfied. Now, obviously, the element to note about this film is its tone. It's got a very difficult tonal tightrope act that it has to walk because, it's balancing, violent, fucked up kills with a sort of dark sense of humor, and in a lesser man's hands, yeah, they probably would not have met the balance, but Perkins is a dab hand, and he strikes a pretty good balance between the kills and the comedy. The kills naturally are very, very inventive and very, very gory. They are very, very entertaining to watch. Some highlights from the trailers that you have seen include one in a swimming pool and another involving a harpoon. And there are many, many other inventive ones that I will not spoil because you kind of have to see them for yourself. And Perkins does a very good job of keeping up a vicious streak around these kills, where he does a good job of building a sense of dread as to when and where a kill will come, and then sprinkles in that little element of dark comedy. And in general, the film has that element of dark comedy running through it pretty nicely. There are plenty of good gags that got laughs out of me. There's a recurring shit man that sucks, and at one point there's a scene in which a crime scene is referred to as being like Spaghetti City. You know, it's got a sort of tongue-in-cheek feel about it that works very well. Perhaps it could have leaned a bit more into the comedy. Like, don't get me wrong, the comedy that's here is funny and it's implemented pretty consistently throughout, but I think it definitely could have had the chance to shine that a little bit more. But as it stands, though, it is funny and did make me laugh. And of course, this having a 90-minute runtime, it keeps up a fairly good pace and keeps its story engaging. Starting off with the two brothers as kids as they learn firsthand what the monkey is capable of and witness all these violent deaths around them, and then showing the effects that their childhood experiences have on them as adults. It's all very entertaining and very engaging to watch, and I think the actors do a really, really good job selling it. Theo James does a great job as Hal and Bill, doing a great job of imbuing the brothers with their own distinct, contrasting personalities, as does Christian Convery as the younger Hal and Bill. And the two actors do a very good job of really selling the love-hate, mainly hate, relationship between the brothers. We also have Jennifer Walters herself, Tatiana Maslany, as the boy's mom, Lois. And yeah, she does a very good job. She gets a pretty great monologue about death. Rounding things out, we have Colin O'Brien as the adult Hal's teenage son, Petey. I very much enjoyed the scenes with the two of them trying to mend their relationship. We also have, in a small role, Elijah Wood. I very much enjoyed his little bit of screen time. And Severance fans, Adam Scott is in this as well. The nature of his role, I will keep tight-lipped on, but just know that, yeah, it is a pretty fun one. So yeah, all of these actors do a great job, really selling the story and character stuff, and also getting chances to play around with the comedy that keeps it consistently entertaining. Now, it's not perfect on that front. It does sort of lose a little bit of steam in the second half, but in saying that, it keeps things interesting with a very, very effective twist. Now, also to note, the second half is where you can definitely feel it being stretched from a short story to a feature film, notably with the introduction of the Ricky character, which feels like something that clearly was looking like it was going to go somewhere, but that payoff just sort of never comes. But talking of payoffs, man, the last act of this film gets some of the most throwaway, insignificant things get the most unexpected, funniest payoffs possible. It's great stuff, man. But also, towards the end, it leans more into that emotional side, which I think it does very well, and adds a sort of new element to the proceedings, and balances itself out very nicely with the violent stuff and the funny stuff, and leaves the film off on a pretty good note. Also, by the way, make sure you stay in your seat right through the credits, because there's a cool little surprise right at the very end of the credits, so be seated for that. Overall, though, the monkey may not quite be as wildly entertaining as its trailers suggest, but it's got some very good comedy, some very inventive kills, and yeah, if you're going in expecting an entertaining, darkly comic bit of horror, you'll be satisfied. Out of 10, the monkey gets a 7.5. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen the monkey? What did you think of it? What did you make of it in comparison to Longlegs? And did you stay for the little surprise right at the end of the credits? If so, let me know what you thought of that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.